Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Practical English Brain once again. Let me tell you something. If you are supposed to be covering this topic, all adverb clauses and phrases plus like 100 plus academic words in a classroom, it's going to take more than a month for you. And here I'm going to be trying my best to explain all of these points as quickly as possible, but still it's going to take some time, and I'll definitely need your patience. But the good news is that after watching this video, you will improve, your academic skills a lot that you need for TOEFL IBT exam and IELTS exam, and academic English at all, like writing academic essays and dealing with some sort of formal emails and stuff like that. So let's begin with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And once again, I need your patience. So be patient. First of all, what is adverb clause? Look, an adverb clause is a group of words which has the pair of subject and main verb and functions just like an adverb. Like, if you are an English student, I'm pretty sure that you know what the function of an adverb is. An adverb describes a verb, an adjective, or another adverb in a sentence. So an adverb clause also functions exactly in the same way. But I would say that most commonly adverb clauses describe verbs and their main clauses. So now I want you to listen carefully to these 5 important points before we go to the next slide. Point number 1. It usually modifies a verb in its main clause. That's what I just said. Number 2, it cannot stand alone as a sentence. I will further explain all of these points, okay? It does not start with a subject. This is how you can recognize an adverb clause. I mean, like there's main clause and there's dependent clause. So adverb clause is a dependent clause. Now the point is that how do you know whether it's a main clause or it is a dependent clause? It is an independent clause or is a dependent clause? Each and everything will be explained. Just be patient. Number 4, it is a dependent clause. So an adverb clause is a dependent clause. It's a subordinate clause. Number 5, it is used as a part of a complex sentence. It cannot be used alone as a complete sentence, as a simple sentence. It has to be used as a part of a complex sentence. Now, look over here. To the left here, main clause or independent clause. In here, adverb clause. So now adverb clause is a dependent clause or a subordinate clause. Now, look, I will answer your questions. If you put a dot over here, if you stop this, so it could be just a simple sentence. I will answer your questions. You may just add some sort of time expression. I'll answer your questions tomorrow or today or tonight. But it can stand alone because it's a main clause. It is independent clause. But now look here, adverb clause. As soon as I'm done with the explanation, what do you think? Does it give you a complete meaning? No, it does not give you a complete meaning. It has to be combined with the independent clause, with the main clause, in order to give a complete meaning. So now, all of those points over here, see, it is a dependent clause because it is dependent on its main or independent clause. It cannot stand alone. It does not start with a subject. It starts with a conjunction. Look, as soon as it's a 3-word conjunction. So the main clause starts with the subject that you see over here. I will answer I, okay? But the adverb clause, which is a dependent clause, starts with the conjunction as soon as I'm done with the explanation. Now, when we combine these two clauses, it becomes a complex sentence. Now, these two are complex sentences. I will answer your questions as soon as I'm done with the explanation. Now, the point is, it's a kind of general rule for all 8 types of adverb clauses. If you want to bring your adverb clause, secondly, in your complex sentence, then you don't need any comma in the middle of your sentence, like here in the first example. But if you want to bring your adverb clause first at the beginning of your complex sentence, in that case you need a comma before you start your main or independent clause. As soon as I'm done with the explanation, comma, I will answer your questions. So I hope this concept is clear. So what is an adverb phrase or modifying phrase? Now that was class, a group of words which is a subject and main verb and cannot stand alone. It modifies or describes a verb in its main class. But now look, the difference between an adverb phrase and adverb class. The definition. A group of words which does not have the pair of subject and verb and is used to modify a verb in its main class could be called a modifying phrase or adverb phrase. So now the main difference between adverb clause and adverb phrase is that adverb clause must have a subject in main verb form, but an adverb phrase doesn't have to have the pair of subject and main verb. I mean, they still have the same job. I mean, adverb phrase is also used to describe or modify a verb in a main clause in a complex sentence. But that's the difference. Now look at this example. He couldn't pass the exam. He couldn't pass the exam. Now this is your main class. He couldn't pass the exam despite studying hard. Now despite studying hard is adverb phrase. Okay, so it starts with the preposition despite and then studying hard, which is a gerund phrase, and this gerund phrase functions as the object of preposition. So it's an adverb phrase which still describes, the verb pass in its main class, but it doesn't have the pair of subject and verb. So that's the difference. Now you can change the positions of your adverb phrase in the main class, the independent class in a complex sentence. That's also possible. Look at the second example. Despite studying hard, again, you need a comma. If you want to use your adverb phrase first and then the main class after that, then you need a comma before you start writing your adverb clause. So despite studying hard, comma, he couldn't pass the exam. Now, adverb clauses and phrases are introduced by some specific words, and that's what I said. Look, all of these words are coming. For each type of adverb clause, we have around 15, 20, words, function words. And these words which introduce adverb clauses and phrases are called, there are different terms, there are different grammatical terms. Some grammarians call them connectors. Some of them call them linkers, adverb clause signals, or adverb clause words. So I brought all of these four terms so that you may see one of these terms, and I don't want you to be confused. So all of these terms are used for the specific words which introduce adverb clauses and words. Now these four categories of words are conjunctions, paired conjunctions, prepositions, and transitions. And each of these groups of function words will be also explained on the coming slides. So, but I've just brought one example, like conjunctions, for example, although. So this is a subordinate conjunction. In paired conjunction, like but anyways, yet still, but still. So these are paired conjunctions. In prepositions, like despite. There are many more prepositions and conjunctions and paired conjunctions and transitions, but I've just brought just one under each group. So later on I'll be explaining all of them. So transitions, like however. Okay, so this is a transitional word. Now, the usage of each group of the linkers. As I said before, some grammarians call them linkers, some of them call them, connectors, adverb clause signals, adverb clause words. So now one example for each of them, conjunctions. And keep in mind that I don't want you to be confused later on, because we'll be covering all 8 types of adverb clauses. So now I want you to pay close attention. All conjunctions, subordinate conjunctions, in which are used in adverb clauses, which are used in complex sentences, are used exactly in the same way, except there are just a few exceptional cases. So although he had a problem, comma, he went to school. Okay, and how? Conjunctions, subordinate conjunctions or subordinating conjunctions are always followed by subject plus verb form. Don't forget that, okay? He subject had verb form. All conjunctions in all 8 types of adverb clauses are followed by subject plus verb form. Although he had a problem, he went to school. Paired conjunctions, some of them are used together and the whole class comes after the paired conjunction, but some of the paired conjunctions could be divided into 2 parts, like in this example, and the class comes in the middle of these 2 parts of the paired conjunction. So we had a problem, but there should be a comma. When we combine 2 clauses with paired conjunctions, not words and phrases, clauses, then we need a comma before the first part of the paired conjunction. He had a problem, comma, but he went to school anyways. There are more. Like he had a problem, but he still went to school. They're coming. Prepositions, on the other hand, can't be followed by subject plus verb. They should be followed by object nouns or pronouns. For example, look at this example. Despite having a problem. Now, having a problem is not a subject. So we have a comma, and after comma, there's another clause. So now this is a phrase, okay, because it doesn't have the pair of subject and verb. And prepositions can't be followed by subject plus verb. In this specific case, I'm talking about this case, okay, when we use adverb phrases. So having a problem is a gerund phrase, and gerund is a type of noun. A gerund or a gerund phrase can function just like a noun, okay? So here, this gerund phrase functions as the object of this preposition. Despite having a problem, he went to school. And you can change the positions. You can say he went to school despite having a problem, but in that case, you won't need a comma. Transitions, all transitions in English language can be used in 5 different ways in written English and 3 ways in spoken English. The first way, I want you to pay close attention here. He went to school, however, he had a problem. So there are other like synonyms for however, like nevertheless and nonetheless. You might have heard these words. They're also very strong academic words. And they have the same meanings, but however, very common like in daily English, and nevertheless and nonetheless are used in somehow formal academic English. So he went to school, however, he had a problem. So the first way in written English, you use the transitional word at the beginning of your second sentence, and it should be followed by a comma, and you capitalize the transitional word. One more thing before I go and explain the other 4 ways is that, look, conjunctions are used to combine words and phrases and clauses, but transitional words are used to combine ideas between sentences and paragraphs and essays. Without knowing, without learning, transitional words, like this kind of academic grammar, it's almost impossible for a student to write an academic essay or deal with TOEFL or IELTS, exam. So the second way, which is very formal, I would say is like super formal. He went to school, and you bring subject. Obviously you capitalize it because it comes up at the beginning of your second sentence. You start the first sentence with a full stop, by the way. And then you bring the transitional word between your subject and verb form, and then rest of the class. But in this case, you need 1 comma before transitional word, 1 comma after transition. So he, however, had a problem. So this is the second way in written English. Number 3, he went to school, full stop, had a problem, however. And it's very common in daily spoken English or like some sort of like informal written English. You can use transitional word at the end of your second sentence. It should be preceded by a comma. There should be a comma before the transitional word. And he went to school, comma. In this case, instead of full stop, if you use comma, then you don't have to capitalize the transitional word. However, still followed by a comma, he had a problem. So he went to school, however, he had a problem. And finally, he went to school, semicolon. Instead of comma, means semicolon. But still, you don't have to capitalize the transitional word after semicolon. then another comma after transitional word, and then the rest of the class. So he went to school, however he had a problem. So now I said, like, there are like 5 ways to use all transitional words in English language in written English. I hope you learned this point. I mean, the positions of transitional words. Now we will be covering these 8 types of adverb clauses. Number 1, adverb clause of time. Adverb clause of place. Number 3, adverb clause of condition. Number 4, adverb clause of cause and effect. Number 5, adverb clause of purpose. Number 6, adverb clause of contrast. Number 7, adverb clause of comparison. Number 8, adverb clause of manner. And the reduction of adverb clause, which means like learning adverb phrases. Okay, when we reduce an adverb clause to a modifying phrase or adverb phrase, okay, that point will be also covered. So first, adverb clause of time. Look, if I give you one example for each of these words, for each of these conjunctions, so it's gonna take a very, very long time, like 2 or 3 hours, okay? But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you how to use these conjunctions in adverb clause of time by giving you one example, and then I'll just try to explain each word quickly, like orally, like what each word means. I mean, so first I'm teaching you how to use these conjunctions in complex sentences in your adverb clauses, adverb clause of time. And then I just explain these words quickly, and then I move to the next type of adverb clause. So like you see, when, by the time, while, as, before, after, as long as, so long as soon as, once, until, till, since, and whenever. So adverb clause of time. So adverb clause of time describes the time of an action in its main clause. Let me give you an example and pay close attention. When he came to the classroom, I was explaining adverb clause of time. When he came to the classroom, see, when he came to the classroom, this is your adverb clause of time. I was explaining adverb clause of time. Now, the adverb clause when he came to the classroom, it is a group of words, look, which has a subject and main verb. He came to the class. He, subject, and came, main verb. But what does it do? It describes or it shows or indicates, I mean, the time of that action. I was explaining. So the time of that action is expressed by this adverb clause in this complex sentence. So when? At that time. I hope this explanation is clear. You can change the positions. You can say, I was explaining adverb clause of time when he came to the classroom. Oh, possible. And now I'm going to give you just simple synonyms for each of these words. You learned how to use, adverb clause of time and what it is and what it does in a complex sentence. And now pay attention. When means at that time. By the time also means at that time. They are synonyms. They have the same meanings. At that time, okay? But while and as have the same meanings, but I would say like while is somehow more formal, and as is, like somehow I would say informal, and is commonly used in just spoken English. They have the same meanings. While means during that time. Commonly, these conjunctions are used in continuous tenses. Commonly, okay? Before means earlier than. After means later than. As long as, I mean, these words will appear again in another type of adverb clause, but here I'm talking specifically about adverb clause of time. In adverb clause of time, as long as this 3-word conjunction, and so long as these 2 3-word conjunctions have the same meanings. I would say as long as could be somehow more formal, and so long as could be somehow like commonly used in spoken English, but they have the same meanings. As long as means during all that time. During all that time. As long as you watch this video, you should pay close attention. As long as you are the student of this academy, you have to follow the rules and regulations. As soon as and once, these 2 conjunctions have the same meanings. Again, as soon as more formal, once more common spoken English. When we use them in sentence, it means like an action will take place right after the previous action is over, is done. Okay, as soon as I graduate from university, I will be looking for a job. So, or once I graduate from university. Until these two conjunctions have the same meanings, but again, until more formal, till is commonly used in spoken English, informal English. So it means up to that time if it is used as a preposition, because some of them have double functions. But if they are used as conjunctions, then the concept is that an action will not take place because of some reasons, okay, but or because of some dilemmas, because of some problems. But if those problems are eliminated, then the action will take place. For example, you won't improve your English until you study hard. So the action of improving your English will not take place until or till the action of studying hard takes place first. So first you should study hard, then you will improve your English. Since an adverb clause of time means from that time up to now. I've been teaching English since 2001 or 2002, whatever. Whenever means anytime. Whenever I see him, he is smiling at me, for example. Okay, adverb clause of place. In adverb clause of place, we use these two conjunctions, where and wherever. And it is used to indicate, to show, I mean, the place of an action in its main clause. For example, where should I put my books? And I'm telling you, put your books where you can find them easily, okay? Or where should I go to be able to live in peace? I mean, and I'm telling you, wherever you go, you won't find any peaceful place, unfortunately, in our country. I mean, nowadays, yes, but you wouldn't be able to find any peaceful place in the past. But nowadays, alhamdulillah, I mean, the whole country is peaceful. So yeah, wherever you go, I will find you, for example. So this is how you can use adverb clause of place. Now, adverb clause of condition. So here we have these 11 conjunctions: one word conjunctions, two word conjunctions, three word conjunctions, even four word conjunctions. Okay, so adverb clause of, I mean, condition. Look, if we have four types of conditional clauses: zero conditional, type 1, type 2, type 3. And I would like to advise you, if you would like to learn all the details, because here in this video I'm gonna be just explaining, I mean, these words, how to use these words. But for more details, you may go to our playlist, which says clauses, okay? And there you will find adverb clause of condition with a lot of details and a lot of examples and stuff. But look here. So if can be used in adverb clause of zero. I mean, zero adverb clause, type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. I'm not going to be explaining all of these types of adverb clauses, but I'm going to just give you examples for each of them. Like if I have money, I go shopping every day. If I have money, I will go shopping tomorrow. If I had money, I would go shopping right now. If I had money, or if I'd had money last year, I would have gone shopping, or I would have bought a car or something like that. So now something must happen first, adverb clause of condition. And so that something else could happen, that is the result clause. I mean, that will be the result of this adverb clause of condition. Something is conditional on something else, okay? For example, I said, if I study hard, I will be able to get a high score. So now getting a high score is conditional on studying hard. I hope this concept is clear. Now, only if means there's only one condition that a certain action can take place, okay? Unless is the positive way of saying if not, okay? It is used as a positive form, but the meaning is negative. For example, you won't improve your English unless you study hard. It means if you don't study hard. Even if, I mean, when we use this conjunction, it means that according to the idea of the speaker, an action cannot take place. No matter what the condition is, but the action cannot take place. Even if you are a billionaire, you cannot buy extra life for yourself, okay? So I mean according to my point of view, buying life for yourself, like extra, like you are supposed to be dying when you're 70, so you cannot buy like 10 or 20 more years for yourself, I mean, life. So even if you're a billionaire, I mean, you cannot live forever. Okay, so providing that, provided that, these two conjunctions have the same meanings, but provided that would be somehow more formal than providing that. And they mean like if or only if, okay? Providing that you have good qualification, that company will hire you. In case that, or in the event that, these two conjunctions have the same meanings. But I would say that in the event that could be somehow more formal than in case that, okay? So something will not happen, but in case it happens, there's a probability. You should have a kind of preparation for that, okay? For example, I'll give you some extra money. For example, you're telling me, you're my little brother, you're telling me I want to go abroad, I want to go to that country, I want to go to another city. So I'm telling you, I'm going to give you some extra money in case that you should need it. So commonly should, I mean, the modal auxiliary should is used with that too. So you won't need it, but if you need it, so it will be a kind of preparation for you. In the event that you see someone suspicious looking, you should call the police. So, okay. Whether or not, so whether or not means neither this condition nor that condition matters. The certain action will take place anyways, okay? For example, whether or not my family agrees, I want to go abroad, for example, okay? I want to go abroad whether my family agrees or not, or I want to go abroad whether or not my family agrees. Or else means a certain action must take place. Otherwise, there will be a consequence. Okay, you should hurry up, or else you will miss the bus. Okay, you should study hard, or else you will fail the exam. Okay, so on condition that, I mean, again, something is conditional on something else. You know, something must happen first. Or on condition that you have a good qualification, we will hire you as an English teacher for this academy. Okay, so there's a condition. So I hope it's clear now. Adverb clause of condition, still adverb clause of condition, but there I explained the usage of those conjunctions. In here we have some prepositions. In case of, in the event of, and there's a transitional word. Otherwise, I mean, I explained all the 5 different ways in written English, but here I'm going to just give you a few examples for these prepositions, transitions. But keep in mind that when we use these prepositions, obviously, I mean, they won't be in clauses anymore, they will be phrases. Okay, so in case of seeing a suspicious guy, you should call the police. So in case that you see, look, there's subject and verb, the pair of subject and verb. But when we use in case of or in the event of, then we cannot bring subject plus verb after prepositions. And when we bring just object, noun, or pronoun, or like a gerund or gerund phrase, so they become adverb phrases. So in case of facing a problem, you should call me. In the event of failing your exam, you should ask the teacher for giving you a second chance. For example, transition otherwise. Again, so now we had a conjunction, on the previous slide, or else, and now we have this, transition or otherwise. So they have the same meanings, but the usages are different. Let me give you some examples. Otherwise, okay. You should study hard, otherwise you will fail the exam. You should study hard, you otherwise will fail the exam. You should study hard, you will fail the exam otherwise. See, in spoken English, these 3 ways. In written English, those 5 ways. Okay. Adverb clause of cause and effect. So we have conjunctions here, and we have prepositions, and we have transitions. So, because for this conjunction, I'm going to give you an example. He went to a hospital because he was sick. Now, because he was sick is adverb clause of cause and effect, or reason and result. So, because he was sick, he went to the hospital. So now, because he was sick, this is the cause, and he went to the hospital. This is the effect, cause and effect. Or he was sick, this is the reason, and he went to the hospital, that is the result of this reason. So adverb plus of cause and effect, or shows the cause or the reason of, sorry, it shows the effect or the result of a cause in its main class. I hope this concept is clear. So here, all of these conjunctions, you will be surprised to hear this: since and as and now that and as long as and so long as and in as much as. All of these conjunctions mean because. If you use since in this way, as, now that, as long as, so long as, or in as much as. Well, one thing I want to tell you is that in as much as is super formal. It means very, very formal. So in formal English, you may use in as much as. And they have exactly the same meanings. So you may say, since he was sick, he went to a hospital. As he was sick, he went to a hospital. Now that he's sick, he should go to a hospital. As long as he's sick, he should go and see a doctor. So long as he's sick, he should go and see. In as much as the situation suddenly changed in our country, many people are financially in trouble. See, it's a kind of like formal statement. So, in as much as. And prepositions, because of, due to, again, I mean, they have the same meanings, but the usage is different because they're prepositions. They cannot be followed by subject plus verb in sentences. They should be followed by, object nouns or pronouns. So, because of his sickness, he went to a hospital. Due to his sickness, he went to a hospital. But I would say that due to could be somehow more formal. Like you may say, due to the current situation, I'm not able to continue my education, my master's at that university. So somehow like in formal statements, you may use due to and because of, like, somehow like in daily, just normal English. But they should be followed by object nouns or pronouns. So because of a problem, he couldn't come to the class. Okay, so because of a problem. See, it's a phrase, adverb phrase. I mean, still has the same job, but it's a phrase. And here we have therefore, thus, consequently. Okay, so therefore is very common in daily English, and thus is also common, but consequently somehow more formal. Now, if you write like some kind of formal email or academic essay or something, so you may use consequently. But in normal English, you may just use, therefore or thus. Okay. So again, in those 5 ways in written English, in 3 ways in spoken English. For example, he was very sick yesterday, therefore he went to see a doctor. He was very sick yesterday, thus he went to see a doctor. Okay. The previous president left the country, consequently the whole government was changed, or a whole new government came into existence, or into, so if something like formal, so you may use consequently. So, or as a result, even, I mean, that's possible. I mean, that can be also used in the same way. Adverb plus a purpose. So here we have infinitive phrases like in order to, so as to, and to. And these infinitive phrases must be followed by verb-based form. And we have conjunctional phrases like in order that, and so that, and so. I mean, here, if you pay attention, in order to is the complete form, or so as to. The short form of these two infinitive phrases is to, just to, okay, which is common spoken, daily spoken English. In order that and so that, I mean, somehow informal English, and so is the short form of these two conjunctional phrases. And then we have a conjunction in this case as well, lest, which means for fee that. And we have prepositional phrases with a view to, with the intention of, with the object of, with the aim of, and for the purpose of. So all of these words, all of these connectors or linkers have the same meanings. They are used for the same purpose, okay? But their usages are different. Why? Because they come under different categories. Infinitive phrases, I mean, and what's adverb plus a purpose? Adverb plus a purpose shows the purpose of an action in its main class. Let me give you an example, okay? I study hard in order to get a high score on TOEFL exam. So now the question is that why do I study hard? in order to get a high score on TOEFL, in order to get a high score on TOEFL IB exam. So it shows the purpose of the action, study hard. Okay, in main class, I study hard. That is the main class. There's an action, study. Okay, and in order to get a high score on TOEFL IBT exam, the adverb clause of purpose shows the purpose of that action. Okay, so now you may say, in order to, for example, you learn English in order to uh, get higher education in the United States of America, or you know, you, for example, you study hard uh, in order to get a high score on your final exam, for example. Okay, or for example, I record this video so as to help my followers, I mean, learn English quickly, or learn adverb clauses quickly. So, or the short form too. Okay, but keep in mind that after these infinitive phrases, we need to bring main verb in base form, no subject, just directly main verb in base form. Okay, and you can change the positions. In order to study hard, or in order to get a high score, I always study hard. Okay, so that's possible. In order that, so that, or the short form so. These phrases are usually followed by subject plus a modal auxiliary, commonly like a modal auxiliary, like could or can or should, or okay. Uh, so I mean, so that this one, in order that, for example, you say, mm, he studied hard last night in order that he could get a high score on his final exam. Or, for example, I make, I mean, beautiful PowerPoint presentations so that my students or my followers on YouTube channel can clearly see the words that I explain. So that is the purpose. What is the purpose? Why do I make, PowerPoint presentations for teaching, grammar on my YouTube channel? The purpose of this action is so that my followers can see all the words clearly while watching my videos. So can be also used in the same way, but just in spoken normal English you may use so. Lest, which means for free, that is it's not followed, I mean, by negative verb form, is followed by positive verb form, but the meaning is somehow negative. Okay, for example, many people escaped from Afghanistan lest Taliban would kill them. Okay, uh, many people, for example, want to leave the country, I mean, or country, Afghanistan, lest uh, they lest they lest they lose, I mean, facilities, and I mean, in their life, or lest they have a good future, for example. Okay, for fear that they have a good future, so it has a kind of negative meaning. These prepositional phrases have the same meanings. All of them have the same meanings. Should be followed by gerund phrases. Usually they're followed by gerund phrases. Okay, for example, you say, I study hard with a view to getting a high score on TOEFL exam, or I want to leave my country with a view to having a good future abroad in the first world countries, or something like that. Okay, or for example, uh, I explain grammatical points on my YouTube channel with a view to helping my followers improve their English skills, with the intention of helping my followers improve their English skills, with the objective, with the aim of, for the purpose of. All of these phrases have the same meanings, but keep in mind that they're followed by gerund, verb ing, okay? Gerund or gerund phrase. So, adverb clause of purpose. Now, adverb clause of contrast. Okay. Conjunctions, although, even though, though. Prepositions, despite and in spite of. Transitions, however, nevertheless, nonetheless. Paired conjunctions, but anyway, but still, yes, still. And despite the fact that, in spite of the fact that we have these prepositional phrases here too, which can be also used just like conjunctions. Like, so now I'm gonna use one of these groups of words. I'm gonna give you one example for each of these groups of words. Okay, so although, even though they have the same meanings, but I would say although is more formal, even though stronger is like more emphatic, like when you want to emphasize, you can use even though it's just commonly used in spoken English. So although he was sick, he didn't go to the hospital. Even though he had a lot of problems, he went to school. He went to his office. He went to his office even although he had a lot of problems. So this is how you can use this group of conjunctions. Now prepositions. Despite having a problem, he went to his office. In spite of having a problem, he went to his office. Or you can change the positions of your clause, main clause, independent clause in this phrase. He went to his office despite having a problem. See, prepositions are used in prepositional, adverb phrases, not clauses. Okay, so despite having a problem, he went to his office. Okay, or in spite of. So when we talk about like kind of unexpected result, like he was sick. Although he was sick, he went to his office. If somebody is sick, it's not expected to go to the office. So going to the office like kind of unexpected result. So, or in other words, it shows kind of contrast, like and despite the fact that he was sick, he went to his office. In spite of the fact that he was sick, he went to his office. These conjunctional phrases can be also used just like these conjunctions. Okay, and keep in mind that despite is somehow more formal. Okay, in spite of, which is a three-word preposition, is not as formal as despite of. However, nevertheless, nonetheless, however is less formal, is commonly used in daily English. Nevertheless, nonetheless can be used somehow in formal English, in academic English. They have the same meanings. Again, the 5 ways in written English and the 3 ways in spoken English. So I can give you an example. Uh, he couldn't pass the final exam, however, he studied hard. He's not able to find a good job, however, he is a qualified person. He's not able to find a job, nevertheless, nonetheless, he's a qualified person. Or you can use the other, position. He is not able to find a job. He, however, is a qualified person. He, nevertheless, is a qualified person. But that's super formal. It's not very common in daily spoken English. Or you can say, he's not able to find a good job. He's a qualified person, however. Pair conjunctions, but anyway, but still, yes, still, his life wasn't in danger over here, but he left the country anyway. Okay, his life wasn't in danger, but he still left the country. His life wasn't in danger yet, he still left the country. So that's how you can use these paired conjunctions. Adverb clause of comparison. So keep in mind that when we compare the actions of people, we use adverb clause of comparison. Okay, so we have a positive degree and we have comparative degree. For positive degree, we use as. Okay, so now we have one syllable adverbs like hard, soon, high, late, and well. Okay, when we use them in comparative degree, they take r or er. Okay, and we have more than one syllable adverb like honestly and quickly and carefully and slowly and correctly. Okay, so with these kind of adverbs of manner in comparative degree, we use more or less, more for positive degree and less for negative degree, and then we use the word then. So let me just give you a few examples. Okay, for example, Ahmad works hard, Mahmoud works hard, or Tom works hard, Mike works hard. So now we're trying to use the positive degree of comparison. So we can say Tom works as hard as Ahmad does, or Mike works as hard as well as Tom does. Okay, so for positive degree. But for comparative degree, here we use our er. So for example, we say Tom works harder than Mike does. Or for example, Tom can jump higher than Mike can. Okay. Or for example, he arrived sooner than his brother did. For example, okay. For more than one syllable adverbs manner, you can use more and less. In comparative degree. Okay. For positive degree, you don't. I mean, you don't have to use I mean then, or you don't have to use I mean more or less. For example, you can say, my brother works honestly and my cousin works honestly. So now you can say my brother works as honestly as my cousin does. Look, you don't need I mean more or less for I mean here when you use as I mean positive degree. But here you can say my brother works more honestly than my cousin does, or my cousin works more honestly than my brother does. Or for example, my brother drives his car more carefully than I do, or I drive my car more carefully than my brother does. Or for example, he serves the country less honestly than the previous president did. Okay, the new president, for example, serves the country or the nation less honestly or less professionally than the previous president did. I hope this concept is also clear. Now let's move to adverb plus a manner. Okay, so how? When the question is with how, okay? Uh, Conjunctions as if, as though, as. I mean, you can use as if, as though. I mean, I would say, all of them have the same meanings, okay? But as is just like used in daily spoken English, and as if and as though can be used somehow in more academic English. And between these two, I would say as if is more formal than as though. Okay, or so plus adverb plus that. I mean, I'm gonna explain this form, I mean the structure as well. But let me give you some examples here. Okay. Uh, you look at me as if I have broken your glasses. Okay. You look at me as though I've broken your glasses. Okay. Uh, or for example, when we use as or the other structure, okay, so how should I decorate my living room? How? And the question is with how. So decorate your living room as you wish, as you want, as you like it, okay? Okay. So plus adverb plus that, okay. He works so honestly that everybody wants to hire him as an employee. Or for example, see, just to give you examples according to this structure, okay? But still, we talk about, I mean, it's adverb plus a manner. It shows the manner of an action, the way, how something is done, okay? So for example, you can say, he studies so hard. See, an adverb. You need an adverb. He studies so hard that, that nobody can get the first position uh, in his class, but he does. Okay. Or for example, you may say he drives his car so carelessly that I'm afraid one day he's gonna have a bad accident. Okay, so this is how you can use adverb clause of manner. Now the reduction of adverb clause. I want you to keep in mind that the reduction of adverb clause is usually possible in adverb clause of time and adverb clause of cause and effect. In these two types of adverb clauses, adverb clause of time and adverb clause of cause and effect, reduction is possible. I mean, we can reduce, reduce these two types of adverb clauses to adverb phrases. How do we do it? Look at the first example. While he was playing football, he broke his leg. Look, while he was playing football, it is adverb clause of time, okay? And when we change it to phrase, what we do, we just remove the subject and we remove the to be verb as well. And we leave the rest of the class and it becomes an adverb phrase. While playing football, he broke his leg. Now, while he was playing football, it was adverb clause of time because as I said at the beginning, a class is a group of words which has a subject and main verb. So it has a subject and main verb. He and was playing. Verb form, past continuous tense. But while playing football, we don't have the pair of subject and verb over here. So now it is the reduction of adverb clause to a modifying phrase. Or in other words, you may say it is a reduced adverb clause. You may say it is a modifying phrase. You may say it is an adverb phrase. So if your conjunction is while, this is how you can change that adverb clause of time to a modifying phrase. Or even you can remove while and you can just say playing football, he broke his leg. That's also possible. Now look at this. Before I started the live program, I drank some tea. Before I started the live program, I drank some tea. So now, before I started the live program, it's a class, adverb class of time. It has a subject, I, and started main verb form. But what do you do when you change it? When you reduce it to an adverb phrase, just remove the subject completely and change this main verb to ing form. Okay. So before starting the live program, I drank some tea. Now it is an adverb phrase. It's not a clause anymore. It doesn't have the pair of subject and verb, and it still has the same job. I mean, I drank some tea. I mean, it shows, it indicates the time of that action is main clause. I drank some tea. When did I drink some tea? Before starting the live program. And here we have when, which is changed to upon or on. So upon, more formal, on somehow, spoken or used in spoken informal English. So when I got to the supermarket, I saw one of my friends there. Okay. Upon getting to the supermarket, I saw one of my friends there. Or on getting to the supermarket, I saw one of my friends there. Okay, so while, before, after, since. Okay. With since, you can make examples. For example, you can say, since I moved to this city, I have taught a lot of students. Okay, since moving to the city, I have taught a lot of students. In adverb clause of cause and effect, if you have because, for example, so then you change because to because of or due to. For example, because he was sick, he tried to stay home and take some rest. For example, because of a sickness, or because of being sick, or due to being sick, he decided to stay home and take a rest. So that's also possible. Thanks for watching this long video. If you're still with me, if you are a very enthusiastic follower of my channel and you are a student whose main goal is to improve their English skills and take a TOEFL or IELTS exam in the future and go abroad to the United States of America or UK or Canada for doing their master's or PhD. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Once again, I want to say that if you want to learn each adverb clause individually, just go to the playlists, and there's a playlist called adverb clauses, all adverb clauses. There you can find each adverb clause individually. So have a great time, and thanks for following my channel. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel so far, please subscribe to it for more useful videos like this. Okay, bye bye.